This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Polly Robinson Brown Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Tina Turner. Today, we are talking with Tina Certain from the Alachua County School Board. Good afternoon, Tina, and welcome to the Queen Lizzie podcast. I am honored to have you here. And by the way, Tina is a current school board member, a former chair of the school board, and currently she is the president. Well, I'll let her tell you about her current position also with the Alachua County School Board.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. I am honored to be here as your guest. As you said, I am Tina Certain, and I'm a member of the Alachua County School Board here. I was initially elected in 2018 and then re-elected in 2020. So I'd like to thank the citizens of Alachua County for their continued support. I currently serve as the president of the Florida School Board Association, which is the state association of school board members. So for all 67 counties in Florida. So
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations.
thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, and you represent well.
Thank you.
And I watch you. I don't always attend the school board meetings, but I watch you on the live, what is it called?
Channel 12.
Channel 12. And if you all are interested in keeping up or in watching Tina in action, make sure, usually it's the first Monday night. The first Tuesday night.
Correct. We meet on the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Our live meetings are held at the District Administration Office, which is located at 620 East
Okay.
University Avenue. If you're not able to attend in person, meetings are simulcast on Cox Channel 12
Okay.
if there's not a conflict with a city or a county meeting. And they're also live streamed on the district's YouTube channel.
Okay, so if you're interested, make sure do they need to make an appointment or just appear and sign in? Am I right?
To participate in the meeting, we receive citizen input at each meeting.
Okay.
You can participate at the live meeting by speaking to each agenda item, or at the beginning and end of the meeting if there's an item that's education related but not on the agenda, doing citizen input.
Right.
We are still allowing call-ins, and the number to call in is posted online. So you can call in and offer citizen input on an agenda item or an education issue at the appropriate time.
Wonderful. Maybe I'll put that on my agenda for the future. But anyway, Tina, I've known the Certains for a long time out of Alachua. Okay, when I taught there 1 year, there was a Certain working there, and that name was very active in the community, and I remember it, of course. And the people at Alachua were all country people back then. Rural people were really nice to you, but I was from Archer. They knew I was from Archer, and they welcomed me and treated me just like I was a member of the Alachua Mebane faculty member, Mebane neighborhood. I enjoyed working there. And I didn't know you at the time, but I know you now. And this is one reason I have followed you, because I knew of your family and I have followed you. And you, before you became a school board member, you were working someplace else. And I don't believe you gave up your position to work, to become a member of the school board and work with students. Would you like to tell us why, what interests you, and why you were willing to not change job, but quit job and start a new job and work with kids?
So my love of public education, I'd like to say, was instilled in me by my maternal grandmother.
Okay.
Okay, she was born in rural Georgia, 1921, and was not afforded the opportunity to attend school beyond elementary. Okay, that was just a time where that just wasn't allowed.
Right.
And she relocated here, but when I had my own children, that same advocacy that she had in pushing me and instilling in me a love of learning, the importance of learning, I then just started to act and do with my own children.
Right.
And even before I had kids, I worked at the utility, and I was one of the original group of employees when GRU adopted Williams Elementary.
Okay.
And we started to work in the school there, volunteering as a tutor. I had several students, I think for about 5 years. I had one student for 2 school years.
Okay.
He changed schools, and then I received another. So I always had a male student. It seems like I never got matched up with the female, and then when I had my own children. So I come from a group of people, my family was very much in tune to education. I was not the first in my family to attend college, but I was the first to graduate in my immediate family. But
Okay.
the love and the importance of education was there. I met my husband, who is a certain from Alachua, as you
Yes.
said, and I'm sure the certain that you met and knew was Beatrice Certain.
Yes, it
Aunt
was.
B. The infamous Aunt Beatrice Certain, and it was
Yes.
all in a good way. She was
Yes.
a strong advocate of education, a strong advocate of community service and work and seeing about the community. Most folks know her from her being the chief
Yes.
of the Female Protection
Yes.
Center for a number of years. And so I had the background and the influence of 2 women who cared deeply about their community.
Exactly.
And so when I decided to run for school board, it was because everybody remembers the infamous high stakes testing FCAT, and students were being
Yes.
retained because of that. And I was looking at student performance data, and there was a difference in the data in the schools where my children attended,
Yes.
Talbot Elementary, and the schools in East Gainesville. And I started advocating just kind of over the years because I felt that there were inequities in the opportunities and the resources being afforded to some students
Yes.
and not others. And when my children got up and got older, my daughter went off to college. My time was freed up, and there were some issues, and I decided to run. And like they say, the rest is kind of history. But
Yes.
I've always advocated, and I feel strongly about public education,
Yes.
the opportunities that it affords individuals.
Exactly.
My grandmother said to me, school is your job. You go, learning, and the things that you learn benefit you because you own what you know. Nobody can ever
Exactly.
take that from you.
Very true. Very true. And you know, I grew up under the same rules. No one in my family that are older, you know, like my great grandmother walked from Jackson, Mississippi, age 13, born in 1826, never learned to read or never attended school. And the 2 things she wanted, she told her family more than anything else, was to learn to read
Yes.
and vote. She was denied both. She died at age 100, 1926, and she was never afforded
Afforded, yes.
the opportunity. But for some reason, they stressed to us, all of them,
Yes.
you must
Right.
get an education.
Right.
So when I got my degree, I said, this is for you, Grandma Julianne.
Yes.
And it was. My grandfather and his children, they learned because he taught them. He could not read. I still have the book that he purchased in the 1800s that taught him how to read, and with the alphabet taught him how to write. And he was a friend. His father was a friend of Josiah T. Walls. Josiah T. Walls taught in Archer. Many people don't know that.
I read that.
You read that. And they were all friends to help him get elected.
Yes.
Okay? And that is the way education was. My mother only had an 8th grade education, and my father, because they could only attend school for 4 months
That's
out of the
always
year.
afforded. Yes.
But they were determined that we would get an education. And it's something that has stuck with us.
Yes.
My sister and I went to college. My 2 brothers didn't. They stayed at home, helped my dad farm.
With the farm. Mm-hmm.
You knew what I was going to say. And to make sure the girls got an education. 2 of us were in school at the same time. Did we have money? No. Dad was borrowing money from Peter and Paul, from Blazer Finance, because to them, education was important. And like you said, when you get that education, can anybody take it?
Right. And I think the investing in our young people is something that I saw my elders do, and I think that's transferred to me.
Yes.
Which I'm glad it did transfer to me. My grandmother had in my community, folks pitched in and they did what they could. No one person gave a whole lot, right? But those 5s and 10s and 20s seemed to add up. So
Exactly.
I was fortunate enough. I had scholarships. I attended Santa Fe for free. I transferred to UF and I had a scholarship there. But a lot of the little small scholarships and a lot of the pocket change came in very handy. But my community invested in me. And so I also now in turn feel that I tried to pass that on to the next generation. My grandmother had a friend, as I was going to say to you, her good friend. She gave me $8 every week, a cookie, and a roll of cinnamon Mentos. She worked at Alachua General in the cafeteria. She knew I loved oatmeal and raisin cookies, a chocolate chip. I had have a huge sweet tooth. But $8 bought my gas every week. I drove a little Toyota Corolla at that time. Back in the olden days, as my kids tell me now, gas at that time was, when I started driving, was like 79 cents a gallon.
Exactly.
And I did not appreciate the investment she was making then, right?
Yes.
After I graduated from college and I had my own children, I started to think back on how people had helped me. That $8 is what filled up my tank every week.
Exactly.
And it didn't seem like much to her, right? But looking back, I never had to worry about how I would have gas. And each semester, as the time, the break, I would always get a little piece of money from the neighborhood, as they call it, a piece of money. It was always enough. If the book money was delayed, I had enough money to buy my books. I never had to delay in buying the books and supplies I needed. So now when I can tutor or I can send student money if I know that they need, it may not be much, but I know that $20 or $50, $100 is something that means a lot and can go a long way. So.
Exactly, because I give, my foundation gives $500 scholarship. We give 5 of them a year, and they tell me the same thing. That's a lot of money.
When you have nothing?
Yes.
When you have nothing, it means a lot. So,
yes.
I think what my goal is now is to really encourage and inspire the young people that I come in contact with to take advantage of the numerous opportunities that are available to children now. Your parents, my grandmother and her siblings, they didn't have those opportunities. But now we have before us almost like a buffet.
Exactly.
And it's there for the offering if the children would but take advantage of them. And some people don't know, but some folks know the opportunities they have, and they're just kind of, sidestepping them, or I hate to say wasted, but that is, for lack of a better word, it's like they're thinking it's going to always be there. But we want them to take good advantage of the opportunities they have before them.
Right. Okay. That's about time for our first half. We are going to head to a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname The Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't. Our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida and
America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from Steve Spurrier's podcast room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Tina Certain, School Board of Alachua County. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Special thanks to Greg Bradley, Allstate. Right now, I want to open with a couple of announcements. We are working for Rosewood, and we work for Rosewood daily, weekly, 24/7. It is my mom's heartbeat. My mom said to me, you must keep the history of Rosewood alive. You must tell the truth. You must research, authenticate, never attack anybody. Just tell the truth. And I work to do that. And she wanted me to make sure I bring people together instead of separating them, dividing them. Because that is what caused the massacre in Rosewood in 1923, where her teacher, Mahalda Gussie Brown Carrier, from Archer, not from Rosewood, from Archer. However, she taught in Rosewood from 1915 to 1923 and survived, told only my mother her story because she was too embarrassed to tell her parents that she had been gang raped. That was an embarrassment to her. But she told my mother everything, and my mom told it to me and her 4 children. It was 4 of us. However, I was the youngest, and I was the only person. I don't know if I was interested, but anyway, when she told me the story, 1943, at age 5, it attached itself to me, and it became my mom's story and my story. And today, I'm still telling it. But when she assigned it to me, reassigned as I got older, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to tell the story because it was painful. It is still painful today, but I continue to tell it, hopefully to help us resolve some of our history and to some of our issues, not history, help us resolve some of our history, our bad history, our dislike for each other. So I'm trying to bring the community together. I was angry when she assigned it to me, but today I'm happy because I can talk to people about it, and everybody seems to enjoy my story because I tell the truth. And because of that story, I have met these 2 gentlemen in here today, and I have my guest today, Tina Certain. And because of my mom's story, I have met so many people, so many supporting people that are interested in history told truthfully. Okay, and one announcement I have for you, as I said before, January of next year, we're going to do something similar to a Rosewood concert. February, we are opening an exhibit on Main Street that is called An Elegy to Rosewood. We are going to exhibit some of our Rosewood artifacts, real artifacts from Rosewood that was preserved and saved by the sheriff of Levy County, brought to my aunt, and she was and is, and I am too, very appreciative we do have a few things from Rosewood, so we're going to be opening an exhibit. We'll tell you more about it. And in March, during Women's History Month, you are going to be invited to an event wherein we're going to honor approximately 5 to 6 influential women historian in Alachua County. So stay tuned. And if you need to or would like to visit our Rosewood website, it's rosewoodflorida.com, and you can make a donation there. So back to Tina, the school board member. We are going to ask you, I'm going to just give it over to you, and we can talk about, I don't remember what we said, but anyway, you can take the lead and have some questions for me or make some comments.
Well, I do know that you and I met or connected shortly after 2018, when the election in 2018, I think when Alachua County school board was going through the process to secure the exemplary status for Black history. And I think that was good. We're one of 12 districts to complete that process. And what exemplary status is it just says that the district has compiled resources made available to teachers, resources where they can infuse Black history, teaching from K through 12, all throughout the school year, the curriculum, instead of just in February. I think we've come up a little short in that, but at least we did go through the process and provide some resources, and there are a few teachers around the district who have taken the lead and to really try to make African American history known to their students more outside of just the February 1st through 28th time period.
Yes.
You mentioned something, that there were two things that your grandmother wanted her children to be educated and to be able to vote. And I do think as we enter into, as we said before the break, education is something that's near and dear to both of us. And I do think civic engagement and voting is another that that is near and dear to us, and that we should encourage our youth to get involved in.
Yes.
So that they understand the sacrifices.
Yes.
And the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to secure this right, this most sacred right and privilege for us to be able to do, and that they exercise it.
Exactly. And I know when I found out that you were going to be running for school board, I worked extremely hard. I encouraged everybody at my church, my community, to vote for you. I think you even brought a sign out, your husband did, and put on my property because I wanted you to win. Okay, and you did, and it is important. Before my mom passed, she had about 30, 40, 50, I don't know how many at the time, grandchildren. She made certain each one voted. She was very, very a big advocate for voting too. She made certain her children and grandchildren voted. And when she passed, when she transitioned after, they still vote. When it's time for them to vote, they vote. Most of them vote in Archer. My husband was working at the poll at the time.
Right.
And they knew if they did not vote, he was going to come home and tell me. And they would call me, Auntie, where? No, who to vote for? I said, well, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. That's your choice. She said, tell me anyway, and we'll make the choice after you tell me who to vote for. But it is important. And if anybody within, not anybody, I know you're there within the sound of my voice. If you're sitting on that sofa today and you have not registered, get up, register. Get out, register, and vote, because our ancestors suffered the agony of defeat. They could not vote. They wanted to vote. They did it for you. It's your time. It's payback time to go to the poll, register, and vote. That is so important. That is so important.
I'd also like to remind them, if they are indeed registered and they in the past voted by mail, because of a recent change in state law, you have to renew your application to receive a mail ballot. So now is the time to do that as well. You can go onto the local supervisor election site and do it online, or you can call them and renew your application to vote. But if in the 2020 election, or that you received a mail ballot, 2022 election, you received a mail ballot, if you would like to do that again and to vote by mail in 2024, you need to renew that application because of a change, recent change in state law. So it's been said that, if we don't vote to select the people that we want to represent us, then we shouldn't complain. But I won't say that. I just tell people that voting is your way of choosing who will sit at tables, or who will attend meetings, who will take votes to allocate dollars and resources for you. So it is very important that you participate in the process to select who you want to be your leaders, and the way you do that is by voting in every election. The local elections, be it city and county, the state elections, as well as the federal elections. So
Exactly. So remember that. Please vote. It's your duty. And train your kids to vote also. It's our duty to vote. Okay? It's once in a lifetime that you are, or you must, or you should feel free to vote for the person of your choice. Okay? I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, this is my Rosewood story, and I'm sticking to it. Goodbye.